Hello, Georgia Water Resources Conference. We are representing the Crayfish Creek project and are honored to be a special session of this year's conference. In this session, a panel of individuals from a wide range of professions and backgrounds will take a minute to talk about the power of a community taking initiative in maintaining momentum in the enhancement of a stream in its very own backyard. My name is Emily Rogers. I am a third-year student at the University of Georgia studying landscape architecture, and I will be introducing the rest of the panel members to you today. My involvement with the university's Trout Unlimited Club as their conservation chair is what led me to the doorsteps of the Crayfish Creek project. Connor Reynolds is the past president of the Upper Chattahoochee chapter of Trout Unlimited. He currently serves as a board member, and he volunteers his time to fulfill Trout Unlimited's mission to conserve, restore, and protect Georgia's cold water fisheries and their watersheds. Dr. Shelton is a fisheries biologist and faculty member in the Warnell School of Forestry and Natural Resources at the University of Georgia. He is a longtime Trout Unlimited member and faculty advisor to the University of Georgia's Five Rivers Club. He is also a founding member of the Georgia Aquatic Connectivity Team. Annie Couch is a hydrologist in the Planning, Resources, and Education Division at the Chattahoochee River National Recreation Area in Sandy Springs, Georgia. She has served with the National Park Service since 2015 and has been with the Crayfish Creek project since the very beginning. John Calabria is a landscape architect. He educates students at the University of Georgia's College of Environment and Design to conserve and restore enduring landscapes that improve environmental quality within the human context. Dr. Calabria's research includes landscape performance and the amelioration of land use impacts on freshwater and coastal systems. Brandon Henry serves as a city council member in Sugar Hill. His involvement in the project has been invaluable for community support. One of the most meaningful outcomes of his partnership has been the official naming of Crayfish Creek. In his free time, Brandon loves hiking, fishing, and any outdoor activity that involves being outside with his wife Tara and their dog Bella Rose. Dixie Fowler is affiliated with the Gwinnett County Soil and Water Conservation District. Her communication, community engagement, and marketing skills have been a huge benefit to the Crayfish Creek project, and we are so lucky to have her on the team. Roger Grant is a registered landscape architect with Columbia Engineering. In his work, he strives to be a well-rounded professional, capable of creating safe, enjoyable, and useful spaces which value the environment and the people who use it. Crayfish Creek is really grateful to have him and Columbia Engineering as partners. In this session, each member of the panel will spend a few minutes talking about their involvement. From the moment an idea was born to where they are now, every step has been made possible by the partnerships of municipalities, researchers, and citizens in science, working hand in hand. By documenting, publicizing, and collaborating, we hope this grassroots effort project can serve as an example and blueprint for many more tributaries to come. I'll now pass it over to the founding team member of our project, Connor Reynolds, who will discuss the origin of the Crayfish Creek project.
My name is Connor Reynolds, and I'm the past president of the Upper Chattahoochee chapter of Trout Unlimited. The Chattahoochee River tailwater is important to many people for so many reasons. It provides 70% of Atlanta's drinking water. Another reason is because it's one of America's best trout streams, supporting a wild brown trout fishery due to the cold water discharge below Buford Dam. However, in 2016, Apalachicola Chattahoochee Flint River Basin was named America's most endangered river. Fast forward to 2021, and the Chattahoochee River remains endangered due to increased development, which has led to more impervious surfaces, bank erosion, and high amounts of sediment entering the river, which negatively impacts aquatic species, habitat, drinking water, and recreational activities. So for every problem, there is a solution, and the solution is to educate the public about the current issues and establish the first of a kind project on the tailwater to restore an impaired portion of the watershed. Just like Sweep the Hooch was created back in 2011, aimed to remove trash from the Chattahoochee River, today we begin restoring the Hooch, one section at a time, starting with the Crayfish Creek Restoration Project. So where do you begin implementing a solution, one might ask? And it all started with Trout Unlimited's Embrace a Stream grant program, which awards funds to restore stream habitat, improve fish passage, and protect water quality. Early visions of the project included building community, educating the public, and remediating a section of the river by reducing bank erosion, removing invasive species, and reestablishing native riparian. Meeting objectives of the project wouldn't be possible without a great vision, team, community, and partnership.
Thank you, Connor. Going backward for a minute, the last time I spoke at the Georgia Water Resources Conference, I talked about the Georgia Aquatic Connectivity Team. And my involvement in this Crayfish Creek project evolved directly from the activities of the Georgia ACT. We managed to gain some momentum, and one thing that we learned was the importance of having the right partners. And while this aquatic connectivity stuff is a part of my professional life, I'm also an avid fly angler and a longtime member of Trout Unlimited. And Trout Unlimited's four-part approach to conservation is to protect, reconnect, restore, and to sustain. And when Connor asked me to get involved in a conservation project on the Chattahoochee River, we agreed that we had to build an effective stakeholder partnership. And building an effective stakeholder partnership does not just mean assembling the appropriate list of acronyms, but rather identifying the right people, people that we could trust, people that we respect, and who want to work with us. So, for example, when Connor mentioned the importance of vision, luckily, I know a guy, John Calabria, who was not only willing to listen to our crazy ideas, but also to help us visualize a path to reach our goals. And in the process, he's helping to inspire the next generation of conservation-minded professionals like Emily Rogers. As another example, we know our success will depend on a great relationship with our project landowner, the Chattahoochee River National Recreation Area. And that means I get to work with a former UGA student who now is a rock star hydrologist with the National Park Service. And so, as you heard me say that we hope to inspire the next generation of conservation professionals, young folks like our next speaker are in turn inspiring us old folks to keep doing this kind of work. And so with that, I'll say thank you and turn it over to Annie Couch.
Hello, everyone. My name is Annie Couch, and I'm with the Chattahoochee River National Recreation Area. When the park was first approached about this project by Trout Unlimited and the University of Georgia, there was a larger project vision, but no specific location in mind. So we went back and forth, we discussed several different sites, and finally settled upon an unnamed tributary, later referred to as Crayfish Creek. And we had selected this site based on the proximity of the stream's confluence to brown trout spawning habitat within the Chattahoochee River, and by using data from a wadable stream survey undertaken by the Park Service. And we really felt like we could have a larger positive benefit by restoring a small second order stream. So although we didn't have the data to fully support our choice at the time, we really did pick a high impact site. A survey of the tributary confluences from the river within the park ranks the mouth of Crayfish Creek as the worst confluence. Additionally, a follow-up survey of the stream reach within the park showed that 95% of the stream bed and 60% of the stream bank within the park's boundary are considered either impaired or non-functioning. So a partnership of this nature really does have goals and objectives that overlap with the mission of the park to preserve unimpaired the natural resources and value of the Chattahoochee River for not just current, but also for future generations. And being an urban water-based park, this mission is especially challenging without the help of outside partners. So not only will the park benefit directly from this restoration, but this project really was designed to provide a template for similar grassroots efforts. So we hope and expect that this will be the first of many restorations within the park. As far as providing a template, this project was a perfect case study. because throughout the evolution of this project, we have hit countless roadblocks. And at each turn, we have been fortunate to have someone in the community step up and join the project as a partner to help us get over each hurdle. So each partner you see on this slide has played a critical role. There were several times I honestly thought this project was dead in the water, whether it was due to funding, permitting, or something else. And we've been able to pull through thanks to the support of each of these groups. And as Dr. Shelton mentioned, one of the first partners on this project outside of the original group was UGA's College of Environment and Design with Dr. John Calabria and Emily Rogers, who developed the project's conceptual design. And this piece was critical for the park as we were able to use their design to secure our nationwide permit through Army Corps of Engineers and for internal compliance processes. So with that, I would now like to pass it off to Dr. Calabria to talk to you more about the conceptual design and continuing education.
Thanks, Annie. Appreciate you talking about permitting for Crayfish Creek. And I wanted to go over two things real quickly. One was the conceptual design and then some of the outreach that'll be happening before I turn it over to Brandon. So I wanted to make you aware of a story map that Emily Rogers put together, and it helps celebrate Crayfish Creek as far as the restoration project goes. As you probably learned, the project is downstream of the Buford Dam, and it is a confluence with the Hooch. So here you can see some commercial area on the right-hand side of your screen, a little bit of higher density residential, and then some opportunity to work on National Park Service land to implement a conceptual design that Emily put together based on some natural channel design techniques. And there's other techniques that you can use, but just wanted to show some of the existing progress on the project. Here we have some permitted reaches to work on. They had some excessive erosion, channel sloughing because the connection to the floodplain was not satisfied, as well as some washed out culverts. There's, of course, a lot of folks that have come together, some that are on this call and some that are viewing, may even be in this photo. So with all these stakeholders, there's the opportunity to educate folks about the invasive exotic plants and replacing those with native plants appropriate to this setting and meet the Park Service list. There's also opportunities to improve the habitat. And one way to do that is thinking about how we could remeander the channel as part of a longer term project so that we could reassociate the channel with the floodplain. That, of course, requires cutting some cross sections and doing a little bit of math to see if we can get our ratios correct for the various transects that we're looking at. Of course, a conundrum in this project is the hydropeaking. We have base flow and storm flow flowing downstream. And then during dam releases, we have water flowing upstream. So that might be good for some of our wild trout populations, but we need to think carefully about our design. So there's some existing monitoring that's out there, and then some thoughts about using our native plants, and then there'll be some floodplain modeling and some other things. And all of these can go to work towards continuing education for the professionals, such as landscape architects, engineers, environmental engineers, biologists, a whole slew of people that can benefit from this. And then also we can have the public benefit from it. So at this point, I'll turn it over to Brandon Hembry to discuss that component. Thank you.
Hey everybody, I'm Brandon Hembry. I'm a city council member with the city of Sugar Hill, and I want to start by thanking Emily Rogers for the opportunity to speak a little bit about the importance of the Crayfish Creek Restoration Project from a community engagement standpoint. The Chattahoochee River is a very important recreational asset for our community. On a daily basis, people come from outside of the community to fish and to kayak and to hike along the Chattahoochee River. And it is a key part of our efforts to highlight the great things that we have in our community. For Sugar Hill, community interest in the Chattahoochee River was really rekindled during the Chattahoochee Riverlands Greenway study. And this is the first time that we learned about the Crayfish Creek Restoration Project. It's so important to our community that Sugar Hill's mayor and city council, as a placemaking strategy, officially acknowledged the name of Crayfish Creek on February the 8th. We did this because it had previously been unnamed, and we wanted to create a sense of place around this tributary that has such an important ecological impact on our community. The Crayfish Creek Restoration Project, we believe, will help bring attention to tributaries like Crayfish Creek, as well as create a sense of ownership and stewardship among residents of Sugar Hill. We have a good number of other tributaries in our community. All have their own unique challenges that will need to be addressed in the future. The efforts of Chattahoochee Riverkeeper, Trout Unlimited, and all of the partners on this project, we believe very strongly will establish a template for community involvement and leadership on other restoration projects in Sugar Hill.
Hi, my name is Tixie Fowler. Brandon explained why it's important for a city to recognize its natural assets, but how do you get residents to really value those assets, especially when their outdoor experiences might be very different from our own? I work with teenagers, and it amazes me how many have never walked barefoot in the grass or gone camping. And too often, their family's idea of fresh fish comes from McDonald's. So finding volunteers to help us keep down costs and add value to the project posed a real challenge. But by framing Crayfish Creek as an experience and not just an engineering project, we've been engaging volunteers of all ages. People generally like the chance to give something back to their community, and even when we're just pulling privet or cleaning debris from the creek, we're connecting with nature in a positive way. So how are we selling this? High school students need a certain number of community service hours in order to graduate. So before each volunteer workday, I send flyers out to schools and youth leadership programs. This young lady is a Girl Scout. She's developing interactive educational features for the project's online story map. And we're also organizing a workshop for teachers where we'll introduce a citizen science project they can do with their students. To find project partners, we leveraged our personal networks. For example, I'm not a fly fisherman, but Jay Shelton is a friend and he knows I write grants. So he reeled me in and we wrote a grant that positioned Crayfish Creek as an educational experience for young people. NRCS awarded the funding, which covers part of the actual physical restoration work as well as the educational components. My own network came in handy when I introduced the project to the Soil and Water Conservation District. One of the local supervisors is a senior partner at Columbia Engineering. And although he didn't believe me when I said that pulling privet was fun, that's okay. We didn't need help with that. What we did need were stamped engineered drawings. And I'm going to let Roger from Columbia tell you more about that.
Thank you, Tixie. I haven't been out to a privet pull yet, but I hope you'll save just a little bit for me for next time. My name is Roger Grant. I'm a landscape architect at Columbia Engineering in Duluth, Georgia, and I just want to talk briefly about the benefits of pro bono work for design firms. Pro bono work is work for the common good, and several things need to come together in order for it to be successful from the design side. You need to have ownership that has an interest in the project, and in this case, one of our owners, Lewis Young, was interested at the very early stages of this project, and he really got the rest of us really excited about it. It wasn't difficult for me because I grew up playing in the Chattahoochee. But you also need to have defined scope of work so you understand what you're getting into, and you need to have capable personnel. So you need to have the right skill set to do the work that you're tasked with doing. Justifiable pro bono work is, sort of a broad way of describing things that you really should do as far as pro bono work, instead of just doing anything that anyone asks you to do for free. So really good way, it's just a nice way to filter it down to things that have very good positive meaning and can have a really great impact on your community. They may be underfunded or emerging causes that aren't yet on the radar of elected officials. They could be environmentally based, or there can be other reasons. They align with your corporate culture. They give you chances to do new and creative problem solving, and you can meet and be a part of a unique collaborative team that you wouldn't otherwise have access to. So these are all great reasons to be part of a pro bono project from a design side. And this Crayfish Creek is a fantastic project, and we appreciate being a part of it and everyone involved. Thank you.
Thanks, Roger, for all your hard work in the design of the documents. And one big thank you to the rest of our panel members in sharing your perspectives. As an undergrad who has been a part of this project since the fall of 2019, I'm grateful to learn something new every day from the endless years of experience within the project. When a roadblock in progress pops up on the horizon, it is the working together and fostering of relationships that has helped maintain the momentum in the enhancement of Crayfish Creek. We hope after this session, you not only have a better understanding of who we are, but are also encouraged in your own work. We are excited to answer any questions you may have at the conference. Thank you, and see you there.